Star Wars Jedi Survivor is coming out on April 28th and it has so much to offer, but will it be worth the hype? Hi, this is TheTopal, and in this video we are going to talk about Star Wars Jedi Survivor and what to expect from it. Before talking about Jedi Survivor, let's remember Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order was released in 2019 and its sales surprised EA Games. EA Games was so sure that single-player story-based games can't sell well. All they wanted to do was increase their in-game transactions and keep producing online games where players can spend more money. But also, they had to develop something for the Star Wars franchise. Fortunately, they trusted Respawn Entertainment and decided to make a Souls-like action-adventure single-player game with nice lightsaber action, Metroidvania elements, and decent storytelling. But still, sometimes the game made you feel like the developers could have done a better job. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was a rushed game. The skill tree didn't have enough variety, you could have had more living environments, and combat with humanoid enemies wasn't as good as combat with other creatures. And the main reason was, even though we were using a lightsaber, we couldn't sever any limbs. I can expect this could be a better list, but I don't want to make this video only about Jedi Fallen Order, so let's talk about Jedi Survivor and if it's worth the hype. Jedi Survivor takes place 5 years after Jedi Fallen Order. Our protagonist, Cal Kestis, is an older and wiser Jedi. One of the best things about this game is, we will start with the abilities we learned in the previous game, such as Force Pull and Force Push. I hate when sequels act like our character never had any improvements before, so it is a nice touch from the developers. But don't worry, it looks like there will be more Force abilities and skills we can unlock. The skill tree system is changed in Jedi Survivor. If you remember, there were 3 paths you could spend your skill points on in Jedi Fallen Order. They were survival skills, lightsaber skills, and of course the Force. But in Jedi Survivor, there will be more paths and skills to spend points on. The main paths are still the same ones, but they have different subparts. I must say it looks more detailed and diverse. In Jedi Fallen Order, I always felt like we could have more active skills rather than all those passive skills. And from the things we've seen so far, it seems that we will have a significant improvement here. There are new Force powers such as using enemies as shields against incoming fire, or using mind tricks to make enemies fight for us, and more. Additionally, we will have different stances. In the previous game, we had one lightsaber, so the only stance we had was single-handed, and later in the game, we acquired another lightsaber, so we could have had double-bladed staff stance. The developers wanted to add a twin blade stance too, but they didn't have enough time for it. In Jedi Survivor, from the beginning, we will have all 3 of them and improve them with skill points. And later we will able to have 2 more stances. Of course, each stance will bring their own positive and negative sides. The double-bladed staff stance is most useful for a crowd of enemies, but it is a lot slower to use, so maybe during duels with fast enemies, it wouldn't be wise to use it. On the other hand, the single hand stance is a jack of all trades. It offers more balanced gameplay, not too fast or too slow, and you're not too exposed to attacks, so it can be a safe choice for many players. And now, we come to the new stances. The twin-bladed stance will help us to have faster attacks, and as a unique feature, during the attacks, we can cancel out of attacking and pivot to defense. This is very important because you'll be more exposed to take damage. It may sound easy, but as developers say, this stance needs quick reactions and experience. The blaster and lightsaber combination might be ideal for enemies with some distance between us, but it doesn't mean you can use it like a machine gun with unlimited ammo. According to the developers, using our lightsaber will replenish our ammunition and gun, so maybe after deflecting attacks or killing enemies, we will gain ammo, but otherwise we can't just stay away and try to be a sniper. The last stance is the crossguard blade stance. It deals more damage than any other stance, but it's slower to use, and you need to arrange your distance with enemies carefully. It also gives the opportunity to dropkick attack, and it looks fun. All these stances can create a great variety for the combat. Also, I must add, you can't keep swapping between these stances all the time. Then we reach a meditation point, which is some kind of bonfire system we know from Dark Souls games. We can assign only 2 different stances. I don't know if it would be better to change to any stance we want anytime, but this system they came up with can make us try new tactics and find different approaches. Besides the different stances and skills, there are also new finishes. The ones they showed look amazing, and let's hope there are more of them, because after playing a couple hours and constantly seeing the same finishes is a bit boring. Also, as I mentioned before, in the first game, even though we could slice beasts and feel the power power of the lightsaber. When we were fighting against humanoid enemies, it was like we were just scratching them, so it wasn't fulfilling enough. Well, in Jedi Survivor, there will be Dismemberment for troopers too. I don't think it will be too intense, and obviously this game shouldn't become a Dead Space game. Maybe the developers might give us the option to either enable or disable it and choose intensity. Another improvement is about the planets we can discover. In the previous game, there were 7 planets in total, but only 4 or 5 of them were fully discoverable. Others were just for the linear missions. Also, the planets we could discover didn't have NPCs that we could interact with. They were just filled with enemies and loot. If it would have been like this for just a couple planets, it would be fine for me, but since all the planets were the same way, it was a disappointment. We don't know how many planets we can visit in Jedi Survivor, but the planets definitely will be bigger and more alive than we had in the previous game. So far, we have only 2 confirmed planets, Kobo and Coruscant, but there will be more for sure. Kobo will be the base for us and our team. In this base, we will be able to interact with NPCs and plant seeds we collect from different planets, and probably it has other functions to offer too. We don't know if planting seeds has an effect on anything, but it might be just for an achievement like in Jedi Fallen Order. A more important thing about this base system is we will be able to recruit NPCs and they will join us in our base, which is something new and can increase the immersion of being in the Star Wars universe. Maybe they can give us side quests and interesting rewards, or they can give us information about some secret places with important loot. So maybe this recruitment system can bring new events for us. To me, this is one of the important improvements because I would love to have well-thought-out side quests. When the only motivation of a side quest is grinding, after 2-3 times I stop chasing them, but if it is supported with other motivation too, then it's more fun to spend time on side quests. I mean, the developers don't have to reach the Witcher 3's quality, but I hope there will be some effort on their part. Also, sometimes there will be an NPC companion to help us with our missions. In the trailers, there are fun finishes we can do together. If the AI of the NPC won't give us a hard time, it can be nice to have a companion. In any case, it looks like we will be alone with our droid BD-1 most of the time, especially while we are discovering the planets. The planets will be bigger than the ones we had in Jedi Fallen Order, but still, we shouldn't expect a huge open world. They will be more like compact, well-designed, relatively small open worlds. I say relatively small because we will still need mounts to discover some parts of the planets. We didn't need that in the previous game, so even having different mounts is a proof of bigger maps. We will be able to tame some animals and they will help us to reach where we want. Also, since the planets are bigger, we can mark the places we want to go on the map. In the previous game, we weren't able to leave a mark on the maps, and some players weren't happy about that, so it looks like Respawn Entertainment hurt the community. This can actually be crucial, because as you know from Jedi Fallen Order, there will be Metroidvania elements in the game, which means we will have to go back to a planet where we've already been, and reach new places that we couldn't before because of a lack of necessary skills. If there's a place we can't reach during our first visit to a planet, we can leave a mark and come back later rather than just having to remember to come back. Also, there will be secret places called Jedi Meditation Chambers. These chambers are completely optional, but I believe there would be an obligatory one to show players what kind of side content there is. Meditation chambers are designed as puzzle rooms, where we will have trials that can utilize Cal's knowledge of the Force to complete puzzles and challenges. A solid reward system is important for this kind of side content because the player needs to feel like it's worth their time. Completing these puzzles can reward us with skill points or valuable loot for different upgrades or cosmetic customization items. If you played the first game, you can easily remember that the rewarding system and customization weren't that great. We kept finding chests on different planets and the only reward was different colors of the same outfit or the ship or BD-1 and sometimes different materials for the lightsaber, and it was making the customization so limited. Fortunately, in Jedi Survivor, we have more customization options. We can change Cal's hair, facial hair and his outfits, so we will be able to style our Ginger Jedi. And of course, we will be able to customize BD-1 and the lightsaber too. We will have more alternatives for both, especially having new materials and colors for the lightsaber will be an improvement. Even though it doesn't affect any stats, I actually like customizing the saber because it's not something you can do in every game. Additionally, in the previous game, we could only change the color of BD-1, but in Jedi Survivor, we will be able to change its components too. Of course, customization is not something essential in a game like Jedi Survivor, but having the option is nice and it might help players to connect to the main character like in Witcher 3 or Red Dead Redemption 2. Even though we don't create the characters like in Skyrim or Cyberpunk, players can still feel closer to the protagonist with good customization options. Everything we learned so far is enough to make me hype for this game. I loved the first one and finished it twice, and I believe Jedi Survivor will be even better. Only thing I'm worried about is when some people were invited by EA to try the game, there were some performance issues. There is not much time left, but nowadays companies are in the habit of releasing day one patches, so we may have a more polished and stabilized game. One last thing before I end the video, if you won't buy the game and play immediately, probably within a year it will be accessible on EA Play. So if you're not hyped for the Jedi Survivor, it might be worth to wait a bit to play the game later. Whether you're hyped or not, one of the most awaited games of 2024 is coming soon, and I'm looking forward to playing it and discussing it with you after I finish it. The likes and subscriptions are an amazing motivation to keep making these videos, so if you want to see more, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I would love to discuss the game with you in the comments. Take care and see you in the next video.